in the context of horrific events this week. Horrific events. Of course, none of the this was the only time, that horrific events occurred in America since Charlottesville. I'll say this, though. After this major big tech purge, and after the way that the media is covering the Capitol siege and everything else, I talked to all sorts of apolitical people. I'm not just online. I don't just get my worldview from online. I've been around since and I don't want to sound old here because I'm not even old. I'm 34 years old. But I've been around since before the internet basically existed. And so my worldview has been formed outside of an online presence, outside of the digital sphere. And I talk to a lot of people IRL, and I still to this day talk to a lot of people IRL. Everyone I've talked to, my neighbors, my friends, and so forth, apolitical, political, and otherwise, know that this is complete horseshit, the way that the media is covering the Capitol siege right now, the way that big tech is cracking down on President Trump right now. You might not get that from what you're reading in the media and what you're reading on social media, but the average everyday American knows that this is absolute horseshit, considering what we've seen all summer long from Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and the way that the media treated that, and versus the way that the media is treating this. But basically, what they're trying to say here is that the horrific events. This was the first time that horrific events have occurred in America since Charlottesville. That's basically how the media is covering this. I will say this, though. Because they're covering the Capitol siege the way that they are, and because of this internet purge that's occurring right now, this is also going to make people question how the media covered Charlottesville, whereas maybe they weren't questioning that in the past. You understand what I'm saying? And then especially since like this whole Richard Jewell docu-series is like trending right now once again. I think it was posted in 2019, but it's like number 2 or number 3 or something right now in the country. So the way that the media is doing this, they might sort of overplay their hand in a way that this is going to wake a lot of people up. It's also going to radicalize a shit ton of people. That's for sure. It's going to radicalize a shit ton of people because people are going to retreat to alternative media platforms and more echo chamber type platforms. And it's going to radicalize a shit ton of people. But it's also going to wake a ton of normies up who aren't going to, retreat to these alternative social media platforms. Ones who are going to notice the way that the media is covering this versus the way that the media has covered, Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots, where they might question even how the media covered Charlottesville, too. So that's another thing.